Early last week, Ansonia police say they found 43-year-old Christine Holloway brutally beaten inside her Myrtle Avenue home. Their 1-year-old daughter missing, and an Amber Alert still in effect.
We, the family, would like to ask for everyone in our communities and beyond us to help bring baby Vanessa home safely. We desperately need anyone that might be with baby Vanessa to keep her safe, unharmed, and get her back to us quickly. Anyone with any information on her whereabouts, we beg of you to please contact Ansonia Police Department.
Jose Morales threatened an ex-girlfriend. Quote, "I'm going to break all your bones."
Hey, iCkEdMeL, and there's a lot of information that I gotta share with you regarding Vanessa, which is the 1-year-old girl that's missing, Christine, which is the mother that was found deceased.
Police discovered Vanessa's mother, Christine Holloway, beaten to death inside their Myrtle Avenue home. Her baby girl was gone, eventually triggering the Amber Alert.
And Jose, which was arrested the day after they found the mother's body.
Jose Morales is currently locked up on unrelated weapons charges.
On unrelated charges, they said he wasn't a suspect, but now they're saying that he is a suspect.
Jose is a suspect in the mother's death.
And then we're also going to talk about, towards the end of this video, an interesting history that an article had regarding his ex and his history with PCP and some of the issues and run-ins that he's had in the past.
He has been convicted of violence in the past, including in 2012.
Before we get into all the details of what we know that's public, because there's a lot of information that police are withholding, Vanessa Morales, she was last seen November 29th, well, between the 29th and the 30th.
We're told family last saw Vanessa the day after Thanksgiving.
Her description that was given, because there's an Amber Alert for her, she's still missing.
The Amber Alert for 1-year-old Vanessa Morales is still in effect.
Here in downtown Ansonia, a number of businesses have these flyers right up in their windows. It's been the talk of the town, and they're praying for this little girl's safe return.
She hasn't been seen since. Well, today there was a false report. They thought they saw her at a hospital on camera. Apparently that wasn't her.
The child on the video had a striking resemblance to Vanessa, was with a group of people. The baby was not Vanessa, it was a much younger child actually.
She's a 1-year-old. She's described as white, brown hair, brown eyes, 2 feet 2 inches, and weighing 17 pounds. Vanessa Morales last seen on the 29th to 30th of 2019, November, and well, it's reported that police did 2 welfare checks. This was reported by Courant.com. On the second welfare check, that's when they found the mother, Christine Holloway, bludgeoned to death, beat to death.
The FBI, state, and local authorities are working together to investigate the brutal beating of Holloway and to find her daughter.
That was December 2nd. Okay, so the timeline so far is we got the end of November 29th, 30th, when Vanessa was last seen by relatives. Then we have the 2nd, where Christine Holloway's body was found. And then on the 3rd, Jose Morales, which is Vanessa's father, he was arrested the day after. Now, they said this was unrelated charges because they found 2 tasers, and I guess he was on probation or something. He wasn't supposed to have these weapons.
Yeah, police tell us he was arrested on felony weapons charges in New Haven on Tuesday. His family telling us that it has to do with having stun guns.
Jose Morales, which was initially stated not to be a suspect, but now is a suspect, well, Police Lieutenant Patrick Lynch said we can definitively say that Jose Morales was the last person we can say was with Christine and Vanessa. They declined to state when was the last time that he was with them. So we don't know a timeline of that, but somewhere in between, obviously.
Baby Vanessa's father, 43-year-old Jose Morales, in jail for a month as a result of unrelated weapons charges, remains the primary suspect in both the murder of Vanessa's mother, Christine Holloway, and Vanessa's disappearance.
Also, sources told the Courant, which is the source of most of this information, that there was bloody clothes and rags connected to Holloway's murder. So this is the mother. But sources said that there's nothing that explains what happened to the missing 1-year-old daughter. Several recovered items have been sent to police for forensic laboratory, DNA analysis. It's unclear where or when the bloody clothes were discovered. So police, they're giving some information, but not all. And I'm sure it's to protect the integrity of the case. As far as leads in that nature, which police have been kind of hush-hush, they did release images of items that Vanessa would use every day. So things like a car seat, a polka dot comforter, and an Eddie Bauer backpack.
The investigation bringing them to State Street in Hamden. State Police Major Crime spent hours at the Kidducation Donation Center after we're told an employee found possible evidence in a donation bin.
People have been on the lookout for that, and there was somebody that actually, a shopper, that reported seeing a Graco car seat that was discarded. It was at the BJ's Wholesale Club in Derby. Police were dispatched, but they didn't release any information as if it was related or not. They're keeping it really tight-lipped.
And tonight, investigators took pictures and examined 2 more bins in Derby, swabbing them and looking inside. They did not say if anything was found.
The other reason the police put these items out is because the items were not actually in the home when they found Christine deceased body. So they believe that it's either still with Vanessa, whoever has Vanessa, or that it was discarded at some point. Police, I've also seen them mention that they believe Vanessa is still alive. I don't know if they still feel like that. I hope so.
We are very hopeful that we are going to find her. We believe that she is with someone safe.
Before we get into the interesting history of Jose Morales, there were some clips too that I saw in the news of his family saying that they would have never thought this. They have a hard time believing it, which is something you hear from families a lot of times.
Family members on the father's side are in shock and disbelief.
Now, you shouldn't judge somebody on their physical characteristics as far as whether they would commit a crime or not, because if you've been following the crime world or you watch those kind of podcasts or shows, I listen to them, you know, you could look at somebody like Ted Bundy that doesn't look into those characteristics but is. But honestly, man, looking at this guy Jose Morales and then the history that we're going to get into, but just looking at him, something looks like something's wrong with this guy. Deranged. He looks crazy. I have to keep it 100%. I've been keeping it professional, but this guy looks crazy. Not somebody I'd want to be friends with. Not somebody, a family member that I would want to hang out with. He looks off.
A relative of Morales told us it's unbelievable to even consider the possibility.
This is from Courant.com, and let's talk about the history. I'm going to read it verbatim. And, you know, he's a convicted felon. That's why he couldn't have those weapons. I'm sure they're just doing that to hold him as well. They're probably trying to solidify their case before they bring forth other evidence and details. Now, the court records detailing Morales's prior arrests show that he was convicted twice in 2012 for incidents involving an ex-girlfriend. In the first case, Morales pinned down a woman to the floor and threatened her at her mother's home in Meridian. He received probation. In the second case, just a few months later, he was charged with breach of peace and violating his probation after a West Haven police officer witnessed a confrontation between Morales and the woman. He received a 9-month jail sentence. So here's the details. June 24th, 2012, Meridian police received a 911 call from the victim's mother. So the woman that was attacked or whatever, the mother called. And we're not talking about Christine. This is an ex-girlfriend, saying that the daughter's boyfriend was high on PCP, acting strange, according to the police report. The woman said Morales and her daughter came home around 1:30 a.m. and a short time later, she heard a thump. All right. That was a little bit exaggerated. Sorry. The woman said that she went to investigate. She heard her daughter yell, "Knock it off. You're freaking me out." According to the report, she opened the bedroom door slightly and saw Jose holding her daughter down on the floor. The woman told police she heard Morales saying, "I'm going to break all your bones." Now, PCP is a pretty crazy substance. I've seen a lot of videos online. I never tried that. I would never want to try that, but I've seen a lot of videos online. You should check it out on YouTube. It's some crazy stuff. She yelled that she was going to call police, and as she called 911, Morales got off her daughter and went to lie in bed, according to the arrest report. When police arrived, they found Morales lying naked in bed and unable to answer questions. Sounds like PCP. His girlfriend also admitted to doing PCP as well, denied anything had happened, which a lot of people do in cases of domestic violence. But she did admit she had a protective order against Morales because they had gotten into a fight while on PCP, which is another thing that people do when they get a restraining order. I had to get a restraining order once. A lot of times the couples or exes, they still see each other even though they have a restraining order against each other. So Morales was charged with violating the protective order and disorderly contact. He pleaded no contest to the charge, and 2 months later received a 3-year prison sentence that was suspended and 2 years of probation, court records show. Morales was on probation less than 2 months when he was arrested again in October 2012 after another altercation with the same woman. A lot of times when people are in these kinds of relationships, one person might be thinking it's going to stop, it's going to change, it's going to get better, maybe things will, and it never does. It just continues and it keeps getting worse. I wonder if Christine was going through this in her relationship with this guy. A West Haven police officer was patrolling Campbell Avenue on October 1st, 2012, when he saw Morales and 2 women, one with a child in a stroller, walking south when Morales reached out and maliciously grabbed one of the female's arms, according to the arrest affidavit filed by a probation officer. The victim was frantically trying to break free, he wrote. This dude's doing this in front of the police. The woman got away, but Morales ran in front of her and grabbed her again, according to the affidavit. The officer told Morales, get his hands off the woman. Morales yelled at the officer, I did nothing wrong. I was just talking with my girlfriend. It's probably off that PCP again, allegedly. Who cares, right? Who cares about allegedly with this guy? Morales was charged with a breach of peace with the West Haven police. Archibald had him charged with violating his probation because the woman he was arguing with was the same one from the Meridian case only a few months earlier. Morales once again got a 3-year sentence, only this time he served 9 months in prison, and he was given 2 years probation, court records. This is a whole different off-topic thing, but I don't know if you know now too, the Democrats and the liberals, I don't want to bring it into politics, but these people are pushing now to where people that are charged with something, like they don't have to do any kind of, they don't have to pay a bail, they don't have to serve time or whatever. They can just come right back out. So a lot of people now, they're afraid to report crimes, because you report a crime, the police come, they take you in and they let them right back out. That's happening in New York. You guys comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're not, leave a like, share the videos. The subscriptions really help. We're trying to get to 30,000. So when I cover stories like this, even though I got to this story pretty late because of just time constraints, but it really helps get the news out fast. Make sure you follow me here, follow me on Facebook. And consider becoming a member if you'd like, here on YouTube or Patreon. Really appreciate it, because these videos are considered controversial or, sensitive topics. And a lot of the times either the video gets demonetized or it might be monetized, and then it's under like a stricter category where it doesn't really earn anything. And, my hope is to do this full time one day, not to have to do a full-time job, 8 hours plus, come home, and if I don't have my daughter, then it's almost 1 a.m. now. I still have to render the video, upload it, make a thumbnail, do the SEO, rankings, titles, thumbnails, description. I'll probably be up for another 2 hours just to have this set for tomorrow. So the easiest thing you can do is just hit like, share the video, subscribe, to make sure you turn on the bells and notifications. And I really appreciate that. And hopefully they find Vanessa, man. And my thoughts too, outside of all the details that I've been covering this, is I think we need harsher, stricter laws against people that commit crimes against children and even parents, kidnapping, stealing them. Maybe we can make a thing, an exception, that like if, for example, the person turns in Vanessa, they can maybe be exempt from being criminally liable if you bring the child in alive, or where the child is at. But other than that, when we find these situations out, there needs to be stricter consequences to all parties involved. I'm talking about even parties that were hiding the children or knew where the child is at, because if Vanessa is alive, obviously there's other people that know where she's at. Maybe it might be one other person, maybe it's a family of this guy. Who knows what his intentions were or is. Who knows, man? The other thing too is you got to worry about is sometimes maybe the person gets spooked that has a child. I don't want to speak anything negative into existence, without knowing the more details of this, but people could get spooked. That's probably why the police are staying kind of quiet and shut. They might try to do something to hurt the child just to try to run to get away. But like the news was saying and the police were saying, encourage you to turn this child in, man. It's I can't even imagine any kind of human being that would do that to a child, to keep them in whatever kind of conditions that they're at, and what they did to this mother. I mean, it opens up a conversation to a bigger topic too, you know, with as far as domestic violence and relationships and people staying, and it's a really complicated, complex topic. Maybe we can have a broader conversation one day. Maybe I can bring a guest on. And then especially when kids are involved and how that affects kids and growing up like that. And, you know, if this guy was like that with his previous relationship, the ex, with the craziness, I have to imagine there was something going on, obviously, with these two. I think statistically, or I've read somewhere that the chances of somebody getting hurt when in those kind of relationships, domestic violence, the chances of something dangerous like escalation is when that person tries to leave. You know, who knows? Maybe there's a lot we don't know. Watch the people that surround you. You know, I've been talking for a while about this whole thing with, I think even statistically, the people that are most likely to harm you, kill you, do some really, or even to your kids, to do inappropriate things, hurt your children, are people that are close, family members, relationships, spouses. If you look at Heidi Broussard, I'll put the link if you haven't seen Heidi Broussard, but her supposed best friend killed her to take the baby. You know, it's insane to think that you can have somebody with you for years. You've heard of people being in relationships, being married for years, and to one day the person just literally turns around and stabs you, you know, stabs you in the back. Fatally, you know, to take whatever. You never know, people around you that are jealous, looking at you, smiling, pretending to be happy for you. It's insane. And the way that Christine was killed, I mean, she was bludgeoned, you know, beat. I don't know. Good night, or morning, or afternoon. Peace.
I see potential subscribers.